So, ladies and gentlemen, guests, I'm here with the amazing Uncle Win. Like I think I mispronounced it the last time we spoke, but Uncle Win, the dynamic vocalist who's come out with a new single. So, Uncle Win, can you tell people who you are? And first, just go back to your humble beginnings about you getting into the music industry.
Okay, thank you for having us. Well, I started out as a young kid growing up in South Florida uh, with 8 siblings in our household. You know, that made we had yeah, 9 siblings. We had my mother had 10 kids, and we grew up in a religious Christian home, and that's where my humble beginnings started when I was singing in the church choir, and then we formed a group with our brothers and sisters, and later on it was just the brothers. But I was the only one that really stuck with it for a while. But one of my brothers, Kevin, who's with me now, he's still with me. But I made my first 45 record at the age of 14, and we was in Nashville. The story on that is we was rehearsing one day, I, myself, and my brothers. We was called the Tompkins Brothers then, and we had the garage door open, and this country singer, I didn't know who he was at the time, but this guy pulled up smoking a cigar in an Eldorado with the bull horns out front, and he just sat there and listened to us, and after we got through singing, he walked over, and the first thing he asked, y'all boys ever made a record? And we was like, no. He said, do you want to? We said, yeah. And he gave us his card, and he drove off and said, have your father call me. So we were so excited, and my dad called him, and the rest is history. We went on a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, and recorded our first first 45 under the name Tompkins Airs. Yeah, Tompkins Brothers came later. So I've been in this thing a long time. So anyway, that was our first 45, and that put us out where we was like traveling with groups like the Williams Brothers and the Jackson Southern Airs and stuff like that at a young age. So we continued that for a while, but I went on my own in 2004 with my first single was titled Foot Stomping Volume 1, which was, it had no music on it, it was just foot stomping and clapping. And the first single was 15 minutes long. It was a medley on the Win Tompkins. So that was so popular until I had to put a band together and go on the road. So I named it Win Tompkins and the Stompers. So I had some pretty good songs that done pretty well on radio and everything. That first one was the medley, Somebody Touch Me, that did real well. And then this one after that was I May Be Hopping, that did well. No, excuse me. One after that was Leaning Tree. The Leaning Tree, that's about the best one I had for sales and recognition. And then after that was I May Be Hopping. That's the one I was nominated for a Stella Award.
Wow.
Right. Stella, yeah.
But then go back to the Leaning Tree. That gave you what name?
The Leaning Tree Man. And then with the first one, the Foot Stomping, they called me the ambassador of foot stomping. So they've been tagging me with names and everything. So anyway, I was pretty well known in the gospel industry, the traditional. So we did a lot of traveling and everything, touring. But in 2013, I decided to, stop everything, stop touring, stop recording, all that stuff. I was really seeking direction. So I'm not a religious person as per se now, for as follow any kind of doctrine or any kind of organized religion, but I'm more spiritual now. So made my transition from that. So now I'm doing R&B, I got some reggae stuff, I got some country, I got some inspiration. So I'm just a music person. It's not a one genre thing for me. So right now, my latest single is Let's Do It Again, by Curtis Mayfield, the writer and the staple singer. So I love that song. I always did wanted to record it, so I finally got a chance to do it. And it's going to be off of the album titled The Love Factor, the L-U-V Factor.
Okay. And then with that single, I know you said that was your favorite single. You loved it so much, and that's why you wanted to record it. What are you going to do, another rendition of it, or just keep it like classic the way you made it?
Yeah, I'm gonna just. Am I gonna do like a remix on it?
Like, sometimes when you have one song, like you brought out a cover, you keep remixing the same cover.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm going to. I don't think I'm gonna try to go urban and nothing with it. I think I'm gonna maybe go jazz with it, because I have a great saxophonist, Vince Broomfield, that I may get someone like him to take my leads out and let him do that I can hit jazz radio.
Now, I was overly impressed to hear that single was 15 minutes long. Even today, I'm like, 15 minutes long, and that thing was a banger? Okay, you go.
Well, that was like a bunch of medleys, and it just went on and on and on. So a lot of DJs, I got a lot of airplay because a lot of DJs was telling me, hey man, I put your stuff on, man. I could be doing other stuff, man, while your stuff just rides. So 99 Jams, Hot 105 in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, they played it twice on Sunday. So I had 30 minutes worth of airtime on a major radio station. But that just shows how, when you trust the universe and trust God, everything works out.
That's right. And then speaking of trusting the universe, like you said, you went from gospel to secular music. Was that a difficult transition?
Yes, in a way of wondering how it would affect my fans and stuff. But the thing, I had to realize is, I was writing R&B songs for years, but I just never really put them out. So it was always in me. So the more I began to learn about myself, of what, who, and why I am, I say, hey, look, it's in me, so I'm gonna bring it out. So I'm not gonna be holding back because of what somebody else thinks. The first thing is important to me what I think about myself. So once I start learning who I am and this and that, hey, I'm gonna put it out and let the world decide what they want to listen to or not.
That's right. Well, like I said, Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson.
Now you got me on that one. After we had that discussion, I told my wife, I was like, that's the first one I heard. That's a new one over there. So
did y'all go back and listen to it?
I can't hear it. I don't hear it.
What?
No.
Can you hear it, Precious?
I would have to. I'll go back. I would have to go back and listen. I would, because right off, no. I've heard Isley Brothers. I've heard who else? Someone said Will Downing one time, but Isley Brothers. That's who I hear whenever he, sings. That's the first person that comes to my mind is Ronald Isley. Excuse me a second. That's fast.
And I think that it's a high compliment to have that vocal range that can mimic. Your range is your own. Your sound is your own, but you can't help what your sound is similar to.
Right.
So that speaks to your talents as a singer. Like you're extraordinarily talented to go from gospel to R&B and a male vocalist, nevertheless. So with that, you have this cover out. What other? I know you said you had a very large catalog. So can you tell our listeners the catalog that's going to be on the new album?
Yeah, the catalog that's going to be on the new album. One song on there is called "Come With Me." That's a slow ballad. And then the next single that we're going to release, we're thinking about releasing, is called "Miss Right." And then I have another single on there that is called, I got so many songs. The Love Factory, the name of the album. Then I got one called The Master Serenader. I got one. It's so many. Help me out, babe. I could. Yes. One song called Quickie. One.
Now, Precious, why you let him make that song?
Okay. You hear me whispering? I'm like, is Quickie on there?
I got some grown up stuff on there. Then I got some nice love ballads. There's one on there called Precious Precious. So I think people will enjoy it, you know. So
they're nice. They're tasteful. They're tasteful.
Okay, Precious, I'm counting on you, girl.
I don't do it's certain stuff way I do it, like you say, they're classy, but you can hear where I'm coming from and everything, but it's not done in a vulgar way or nothing like that. I can't do that. That's not in me to do that.
It's grown. It's the type of music that you can play at weddings or just different events. So people are going to want to have you back no matter what type of music, right?
Right.
Now, Precious, you're the brains behind this whole musical operation. Tell us about your role as it applies to the company and the record label.
So my position, I'm the operations officer. And when he does his thing in the studio, brings all the lovely, great music. And then once it's done, it's handed over to me to get it out to you guys so you can hear it. Because if I don't get it out, you won't know it's there. And, he'll just have all of this great music just stockpiling and no one knows. So I just take to social media and any kind of avenue that is, available to me to get the music out. So.
Okay. And then you have some other things going on outside of the music. Can you tell us about that?
When or
you?
Me? Okay, so outside of that, I also help with structuring the funding, because a lot of people don't think about that. As a listener or a consumer of music, that's all we think about, is buying the music, listening to music. But on the other side of that, these musicians, these artists, they don't do this for free, right? They have to have the funding in order to put these projects together. So for Uncle Win's music, I also facilitate the funding that is needed to, help with the mixing and the mastering and the radio promotions, all of that, coming up with the budget, determining, how much should go into each area, not to spend too much in this area. Now you don't have enough to, take care of the marketing because you done spent so much over here. So I do that for Uncle Win's music. Outside of that, with everyday people and their regular businesses, I help them with that to budget, their finances, be able to, pay their bills, but also live and be able to vacation. But like I was telling you earlier, I'm thinking about solely focusing on just artists, because that way I can continue to do it all the time. When Win does a project, I usually stop working with other people to, solely focus on him and the music. But I feel like if I just focus on artists, I'll always continuously, be working in that industry, in the music. I don't have to take a break because, oh my goodness, taking a break, like right now, my social media is suffering because I took that break with, my stuff. The algorithm changes all of the time. And before Instagram, they were constantly pushing my stuff to people. So my engagement was through the roof. But the minute I stopped,
right,
it's like you have to continuously start over all of the time. And I'm like, I can't afford to keep doing that. So I'm seriously thinking about, targeting just artists.
I think that's a good idea. And then how will that, with the record label, tell us about the record label and how all that will tie into the label, because Uncle Win, you're the first artist under the label, right?
Yes, I'm the first artist to go out, and I'm preparing the way for the rest of them to come behind me, because the next single that's coming from Uncle Win's music is Jimmy Bohorn featuring Uncle Win. And the one following that is from artist Marco Bernice, I'm saying that right?
Yeah, Marco.
From Zimbabwe. He has the single entitled She's a Gangster featuring Uncle Win. Then I have another artist from Atlanta, Georgia. His name is The Noise. His song is A Good Woman featuring Uncle Win. So what I'm doing, I'm cross-promoting all this. They get in different genres, so they'll take me in their genre and I bring them in my genre. So that's where my label started out.
I love that. Well, I mean, it just all goes into what you said. You're not a one-dimensional artist. You sing all genres, which is pretty awesome. Like even singing reggae. I didn't know you sung reggae as well, so that's new.
Yeah, you'll get a chance to drop. I'm going to put all my stuff out. I'm going to release all my material.
I'm looking forward to it. God said, use me until I'm empty. So that's what you're doing, right?
There you go. There you go. I like that. There you go.
So now this is about the changes from the time that you started, and even with the marketing until now. What changes have you seen?
From the time that we started until now, I would say back when I started marketing for Win, that was 2013. You could just mainly focus on just going straight to radio and pretty much it. Like, for one, TikTok was not in the picture at all back then, right? So you were, your focus was on, mostly radio promotion, some social media. Fast forward 2022, it's like, seemed like all of your marketing is being done social media, right? Like no one is really talking about any other ways, but we cannot forget about radio, because I'm seeing that it still plays a big part to still have your, door to door, getting out there, hitting the streets, making that physical connection with people. So I would say that would be the difference, that back then they were just doing the physical and hardly, no digital stuff. Everything was like face to face, and now they're doing everything's online. Everything is getting my DMs,
Right.
Email. So
I'm like, stop sending me beats. Do I look like I'm a beat maker? Okay. So, and speaking of everything online, y'all have some TikTok crazes going on. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so his single, Let's Do It Again, we put it on, although we did not release it to Apple Music, like the entire single, we didn't release it at first to Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, but we still released like 1 minute of the sound to Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to be able to create videos, so people can go out there and make their fun videos.
Right.
So creators started to jump on the sound, and they started to get creative, from performing dances to making things. Like, you got to go check it out. It's what we up to, like 60 some videos. I think it was like 60 some videos that they've made so far, and of all these different things that they're doing, from making things to making up dances. And it's great. We're loving it.
I'm gonna check it out. Congratulations, because I can't even TikTok. Woo! TikTok is a whole other animal. I'm like, I gotta block this person. I don't know what's going on here.
There's some stuff on there for you now.
I swear it is. So with that being said, Uncle Win, what do you like most about the music industry now, and what do you like the least?
Ooh. I like most that the playing field is more level. If you got the know-how and the finances and the right people around you, and it ain't so much, you really don't have to have a talent. If you got the right people around you, I mean, But if you got the talent and you got the know-how and the right people around you and the funding, you can do, you can do some major stuff to where you will look like a major. Back in the day when I was coming up, it's like that was impossible because it's like you couldn't get no airplay, you couldn't get no distribution. Because a lot of people, I've been in the game a long time and I'm from the old school. It's like, I would say like in the 80s, it was like, if you want to get distribution from somebody like Warner, you had to have at least 250 grand set aside. Yes. Because if you want a P&D deal and all that kind of stuff, it was totally different back then. So for them to market and do all that stuff for you, they were like, they want to know that you got that kind of cash. So to take off, you can do your manufacturing, you can do all that stuff. But now it's like, you don't have to worry about manufacturing. Oh, just send me an MP3, send me a wave. It's like, I like that part about it.
Yeah, but that digital again.
Right, yeah, but that digital. So I understand it's the same game, but it done changed the way it's done.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was so hard for me to wrap my head around the way it was done. It's like, even when it comes to the recording part of it, it's like, one time I had a studio that had 20 keyboards in it. So when I got out of it and came back, the guy that helped me put it together, a real good friend of mine, Miko. What's up, Miko? He come and put it together. He said, you don't need no keyboards. I'm like, what do you mean? You just need one brain. I'm like, one controller. All your keyboards is inside the computer. I was like, oh boy. So I had to relearn, had to reprogram. So that was a struggle. But the old versus the new, this is what I don't like about the new. It's so easy to get your music stolen. It's so easy for people to download. Back then, you had to buy that CD, you had to buy that vinyl, you had to buy that cassette, but now everybody just copying it. It's like, it's so easy now. So the artists, I don't know, it's harder now. So you can't depend on sales. Now you gotta get out and you gotta really tour, you gotta have other things, you gotta brand yourself different. So it makes it different, but there's a downside to up and downside to both of them.
But don't get it twisted though. Even though it evolves, he's right there learning. I witnessed him last year then? He took a trap class. Learned trap music because he realized, that's what they're listening to now. So he's like, I need to learn trap. So he got in this class and, of course he was the oldest in the class, and you can kind of see that, folks was like, okay, what this old man gonna do? Please, my baby got in there and he showed them. And if you listen really closely to Let's Do It Again, there's some trap undertones in there, right? So he has captured that older generation and the younger generation with that Let's Do It Again, because like all of the younger guys, they're like, oh, Uncle Win, like this song is fire, because they hear the little trap undertones in it. Mm-hmm. And the older generation, it's a classic, so they're feeling it.
Was it challenging to come back out? You've not stopped making music, but you're rebranding. So was it challenging because of your age? It doesn't take away from your talent. You're still a talented singer no matter what. But just getting out there, and then like you're taking all these classes, you're doing your due diligence to touch the different generations and touch, just the different ears. But to get to those, was it a challenge?
Yes. It's almost like saying, boy, I should have done this 30 years ago. But I realized that age has nothing to do with it. If it's still in me, I can do it, because the universe energy has nothing to do with age. It's, I live in the moment. So if I'm gifted to do it, I'm gonna do it. So even if I be a granddad at 90 years, or if I can still do some trap, do some hip hop, and do whatever I do, I'm gonna do it. So hey, I ain't worried about what people talk about. I'm just doing my thing.
Uncle Will said he coming with the fire, so you better get prepared. That's what you better do. Fasten your seatbelt, okay?
Yeah. So after you begin to know my music and hear the different variety, you'll see where I'm coming from.
Well, when is the album coming out? That's what we want to know.
Ooh, that's gonna be hard because I guess we're gonna play around with some singles and go from there. But I'm thinking maybe at least 3-4 singles to come before the album.
Okay. Well, that's normal. So,
my wife came up with some clever ways to market stuff. So I just want to build up that hype before when the album drops. I mean, people just can't wait to put their hands on it, So.
Right, you want to get your buzz singles out first just to get the traction going.
Yes.
So then this is my last question because I know y'all sick of me by now.
No, we're enjoying.
Yes.
So where can viewers follow you and download your music?
Okay, so he is on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and I'm going to give you each one. Just 1 second here. So on Instagram, he's at Win Tompkins. And then on Facebook, at official Uncle Win. And then TikTok, Uncle Win 10.
So y'all follow him, download the music, get the numbers up because it is, like you said, they got to get paid. So, and payment is based off of those numbers, and the algorithm does change, and every day is a new artist coming out. So he needs to stay in the number and get on those charts. So y'all follow him.
And one more, and Uncle Win's music is where you can get the single, where you download the single. It's www.unclewinsmusic.com.
Woo woo. Now, if you want to listen to his inspirational stuff, that's under Win Tompkins, correct?
Correct.
But it's on the website too. So, yes. And just so everyone knows, the reason why we still kind of use Win Tompkins, because that's where a lot of his audience, like people know him. They don't know who Uncle Win. Like if we completely just did just straight Uncle Win, we would get no traction whatsoever because no one knows who that is. You know what I mean? So some of his things, we did keep it under Win Tompkins because he already has a name out there as Win Tompkins. So to like completely erase that would be like erasing who he
right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like erasing who he is.
That's my journey.
That's your legacy.
Right. So
this here bigger than Nino Brown, okay? So thank you so much. I enjoyed you guys 2 days in a row. We got it this time though, okay?
Thank you so much.
And enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.